The pick is in.
With the number 58 pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Jack Bech, wide receiver from TCU, presented by LinkedIn. Here to break it down with me, it's your boy Q of Locked On Raiders. And Q, after taking Ashton Zenzi at number 6, the Raiders, they continue to add firepower to their offense. Jack Bech comes in. How do you like the pick slotting into this Raiders wide receiver room?
I really like it a lot, man. He's a tough kid. He's a guy that's been through a lot, not only transferring, played really tough there at TCU. He was a guy that made a lot of contested catches, tough to bring down, and he's got a hell of a backstory as well with the losing of his brother for the New Orleans, the tragedy that happened on New Year's. His brother was on Bourbon Street, so that's the story that a lot of people found out about around the Senior Bowl, but he was out there in Mobile, Alabama, and he really dominated really well. Really kind of caught a lot of people's attention. And he's a guy that a lot of folks and a lot of Raider Nation, as a matter of fact, has been talking about, calling into the podcast saying, hey, you need to pay attention to him. Raiders need to pay attention to him. And after trading back multiple times, they actually make a pick and they get him. And I just think that adds toughness to this Raiders team, which is something that Pete Carroll and GM John Spytek are looking for.
We know that this Las Vegas offense has improved ever since Thursday, but Q, in your estimation, just how big of a difference is adding these playmakers, including Jack Bech, to this Raiders offense going to have on the floor and the ceiling of what this group can do?
Yeah, it looks like they're really trying to raise the floor. I think that you hit it on the head right there. I mean, the floor, they have talent, but they didn't have enough talent. So they're adding guys that are going to be the type of players that Pete Carroll wants, the guys that want to compete at all costs, the guys that are the culture changers, the tone setters. That's what they're really looking for. And they're trying to make sure that is the overall theme in that locker room. And so you're seeing them turn this roster over and bring in guys that have that toughness and that competitive mindset. And I think that Bech and his toughness is really going to go a long way. And he doesn't have to be a number 1 wide receiver, right? You have Brock Bowers. He's your number 1 weapon. Jacoby Myers is your number 2 wide receiver. Bech can go in there, provide that toughness. He can be the Raiders version of Tyler Lockett, right? I mean, Tyler Lockett was a guy coming out of K-State that wasn't really looked at as a big-time wide receiver, and he ended up dominating. Well, Bech is a much more accomplished wide receiver than Lockett even was at that stage of the game. So I think they have a really good plan for him and provides another weapon for Geno Smith. So Geno Smith is going to have a lot of different options as a starting quarterback for the Raiders in 2025.
Now, where do you see Las Vegas going now? Obviously, they've added to their offense. They're trying to bring in talented playmakers. Certainly a lot still available on the board. Where are you looking if you're Las Vegas right now?
I mean, you're always looking at corner. You're looking at a linebacker. You're looking at, you can even get safety. I mean, I think that they have all levels of the defense that they definitely need to, address. And at some stage of the game, I believe they're going to get a quarterback. I know obviously the big conversation is the slide of Shedeur Sanders, but I don't know if that's the one that they're going to look at. They could look at a Jalen Milroe. They could look at, a Will Howard, who Chip Kelly has a lot of familiarity with. But I do think that a quarterback at some stage of the game, they'll come out of this draft with one. So those are kind of the positions that I'm looking at: cornerback, linebacker, and backup quarterback, or just a quarterback to compete at some point.
For continuing coverage of the Las Vegas Raiders, subscribe to Locked On Raiders wherever you get your podcast.